this year's competition for the Past Masters is taking place here in a rather breezy Blackpool, and it's the last heat in the qualifying series for the British final. Already we've had that record-breaking Challenge of the Champions just outside London. Then down in Wales, the galaxy of Moscow Olympic medalists came together. And then last week, it was rugby union dominating the events in Peterborough. Well, now just 2 places are left to be filled in the British final, and those 2 qualifiers will come from this lineup here in Blackpool of the Past Masters.
The first of 2 famous goalkeepers taking part here in Superstars. From Arsenal and Scotland, Bob Wilson. From England and Chelsea, the man they called the Cat, Peter Bonetti. From Rugby Union, the Hammer of England, former Scottish captain, Peter Brown. From Rugby League, we have the big man from Tiger Bay in Wales, Salford's Great Britain international, forward Colin Dixon. And there's been no more colourful character in British boxing than the local man, the remarkable Brian London. Not just an England captain at hockey, but captain at squash as well. Olympic and World Championship sportsman Mike Corbin. From cycling, the man who 4 times became World Professional Pursuit Champion, Hugh Porter. And challenger number 8 from 4 Olympic Games, gold medalist at modern pentathlon, Captain Jim Fox. The 1981 Past Masters here in Blackpool.
Well, now, those 8 competitors choose 7 out of 9 events, the first of which is the swimming, and we're inside the famous Derby Baths here at Blackpool. Built in 1938, it was the first municipal pool to be built to international length. That's 50 metres, and of course, most internationals and Olympic trials have been held here since. 5 competitors go, and there is one clear favourite. Although Peter Brown is a water polo player in the past, Jim Fox has swimming as one of his 5 disciplines in the modern pentathlon. He's been dropped, however, from pistol shooting and from the 100 metres, but allowed to swim. And these should be 10 comfortable points for him.
Though he says he's nervous for this, but here's the lineup. Hugh Porter, Jim Fox, Peter Bonetti, Peter Brown and Bob Wilson. And the starters' orders. Jim Fox in lane 2. Pacing about before this event.
Your mark.
Away he goes. And I wonder if the record for Superstars, the 28 seconds set by Danny Nightingale, is what he's going for now. The other great modern pentathlete. He's certainly surged into an early lead, being chased by Peter Brown. Hugh Porter coming up well on this side. But this is elegant swimming from a well-practiced swimmer, Jim Fox, getting the first 10 points. Peter Brown looks good in second. Bob Wilson in trouble. He's changed to backstroke. He's bringing up the rear. 10 good points, but I think he's just outside the record. Peter Brown in second place. And Hugh Porter this side. Bob Wilson, 5th and last.
Fancy you with all your experience, a bit nervous about that, James Fox.
Well, I was, I'll be honest, because all the boys said, oh, you're going to win the swimming. And then I heard old Browno's play water polo.
But listen, you've been in 4 Olympic Games, about 3 World Championships, and here you are in the Superstars 50-metre swim. I've never seen you look so nervous.
I wasn't nervous, actually, Ron. I was really nervous.
Well, nervous or not, the first set of 24 points looked like this. Jim Fox justifying his favourite's position. Peter Brown from Rugby Union 2nd, the cyclist 3rd, the 2 goalkeepers 4th and 5th. Well, the other 3 Past Masters, Corby, Dixon and Brian London, are all in the next event, the cycling on Blackpool's Promenade. Peter Bonetti has decided to opt out, and forced out is the sports expert, Olympic, Commonwealth and a record 4 times World Pursuit champion, Hugh Porter. So it's 400 metres up the breezy prom, heat 1, Peter Brown, Rugby Union. On the seaside, Bob Wilson in the middle, and Mike Corby, the hockey and squash player, in his first event.
Are you ready?
On the left-hand side of your screen.
Get set.
So away they go. Who's going to get the break? Peter Brown on the seaside. That's where all the wind's coming from. Bob Wilson in the middle, being dropped just at the moment. Mike Corby coming out well on the left of your screen now, but it's Peter Brown breaking away, the big Scot. His brother Gordon Brown, of course, has been in super teams, but Peter Brown, my goodness, he looks determined here. And a big crowd on the Blackpool prom to see these superstars, and Peter Brown looks over his shoulder. And is it Bob Wilson going to get second or Mike Corby? Brown eases at the finish, and there goes through, and it's Bob Wilson in second place. and Mike Corby third. Good time as well, 25.5 seconds. So heat 2 then of the cycling. Remember, heat winners and just one fastest loser will make the final. That first heat was very quick. This time we've got Colin Dixon from Rugby League on the C side, Jim Fox in the middle, and Brian London in the red shirt on the left of your picture. Waiting for the starter's gun. And away they go, and Colin Dixon had a good start on the left of your picture, but it's Jim Fox in the middle who's going on. And Jim Fox, in fact, has got his hands very high on the handlebars. He's not really in the racing position at all. One would expect him to drop down, but he's still there, hands up on top of the bars, but he's the man in front. That's an unusual way to ride a racing bike, I must say, but my goodness, he's certainly got some speed going up there, right out in the front. Brian London's the man who's been dropped at the moment, and Colin Dixon coming up very fast as well. Remember, only one fastest loser will make the final, so this will be an important time. Fox wins, Dixon second. London will be out of it, but it's going to be a battle between Dixon and Wilson for that fastest loser's time. Jim Fox there with wife Alexandra and the new baby daughter. Jim Fox's wife, an accomplished three-day event rider, and that's a sport that Jim Fox has taken up as well. But here he is, winning the Heat 2 and qualifying for the final with Peter Brown, and it's Bob Wilson who gets the fastest loser spot, 26 seconds against Colin Dixon at 26.4. So Dixon is out. Peter Brown, the fastest man in the heats. Bob Wilson, who's taken all this very seriously, just scraped into this final. And Jim Fox dropping his hands down on the bars in the proper racing position. Hugh Porter had a word with him about that, and that'll be a much better position for him. Fox on the C side, Brown in the middle, Wilson nearest us. So let's see if the racing position of Jim Fox makes him even faster, and he's got away to the good start, wobbling just a little. Peter Brown in the middle, Bob Wilson on the left of your picture now, and Fox looking a much more accomplished bike rider like that. And oh, and suddenly here comes Peter Brown. Now that was a tremendous spurt. Brown was about a bike length down, and he suddenly shot through. The big Scot really powering up as he did in the first heat, and Brown's going to win this, but there's a battle on for second and third, and it's Jim Fox, in fact, pushed back into third. Good victory for Peter Brown, and the new style didn't suit Jim Fox, last in that final.
Peter, congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Terrific. How did it go from your point of view?
Well, I enjoyed it. I got a wee bit behind, and then I started really to get the bike moving.
It was Jim that had the good start.
Yes. Because he came past me like trains.
I know he did, yeah. What's more, you let this fella sneak up on you as well.
I couldn't hold him. I was trying doing my best.
Hey, Bob, that's a bit better than fifth in the swimming. Do you feel a bit better?
Jim's made my whole, 2 days or whatever. Do you know, the coming back at him, Ron, I tell you, that was as big a thrill as, I don't know, football days.
Sneaking points off of Jim
Well,
Fox.
Foxy,
I saw him coming. I couldn't hold him.
Foxy and I got a 10, you see. I said he'll walk the whole thing, but he won't have it.
Well, they may say that Jim Fox is the favourite, but after the first two events, the swimming and this cycling, he's back in second place now. We've got a new leader, Peter Brown, 3 points up on Jim Fox. Bob Wilson there in third place, and those are the only three men who've done both events so far. And there's no doubt at all, you know, about the way these past masters, so full of Olympic, world and international experience, are taking this competition. Mike Corby's working it all out. And without any doubt, personal reputations are at stake.
You running the book, Mike? Bloody postman and a publican, I can't believe it. Not only that, they're twice as good as me. I've only got 1 point.
Poor old Mike Corby. But the next three events will be held inside the Norbreck Hotel. That's the gymnasium test, the basketball and the shooting.
Pistol shooting was event 3, and the 5-minute time limit for 20 shots at a target 8 meters away proved a problem. Colin Dixon, Rugby League, was first to go. Although he shattered his first disc with shot 3, by the time he'd hit 3 more, he was out of time, having used only 11 of his 20 shots. Cyclist Porter and goalkeeper Bonetti found it even more difficult. Porter hit just 1 disc out of 5, Bonetti 3. And it was Peter Brown of Scotland Rugby Union fame who went into the lead when he broke 3 discs with 15 shots, before the time caught up with him as well. Well, Brown couldn't hit anymore, so with Jim Fox banned from this event, it was just Wilson, London and Corby to shoot. Well, Wilson, more accustomed to saving shots, was really on target. All 5 broken in just 19 shots and well inside the time limit. So Bob Wilson went into the lead, despite a little bit of shake halfway through. And then against all the odds, it was Brian London who came right to the front, shooting very quickly. Already, he's broken 3 discs in just 14 shots. That made it 4 down in 15. 1 disc to go. Quite a few shots in hand to take the lead over Bob Wilson. Shot 17. And the 5th disc was shattered. So tremendous cheers for the local hero, Brian London, who becomes the Jesse James of Blackpool. Well, that meant that London was definitely sure of 2nd place because only Mike Corby was left to shoot. And Corby, the squash and hockey player, proved to be the real hotshot. He broke the 1st disc with his very first shot. And in fact, he'd used only 8 in which to break 4. And a real chance now for Corby to win very impressively indeed. And there it was, all 5 broken, and he'd used just 9 shots. So we'd had 3 different winners of the first 3 events, Fox, Brown and now Corby. Brian London picking up his first points of the competition, now in 5th place, but Peter Brown holds the lead, 5 points clear of Jim Fox, Bob Wilson 3rd.
And that very nice atmosphere prevailing for the basketball.
Peter Bonetti.
Clive Thomas, the referee, very much in charge of these events, calls out Peter Bonetti at 39, one of our most spectacular goalkeepers, and only recently retired. Now, of course, the famous postman on the Isle of Mull. Ready. 5 baskets in the fastest possible time.
1.
Well controlled. Pushing it forward with his fingertips rather than slapping it with the palm of his hand. That's good control.
2.
And using the backboard nicely.
3.
No errors. This is going to be a good time. Again.
4.
Held on to that. And 5. Clear baskets. Very well done indeed for Peter Bonetti.
Peter Bonetti, 5 baskets, 40.38.
Peter Bonetti's time, the time to beat. Brian London sitting next to him there. Bob Wilson still to go. Brian London 53. Bob Wilson coming out. And of course there's some lovely rivalry between these 2 goalkeepers. Bob confessing to being very nervous about the whole event, but enjoying it thoroughly.
No basket, travel.
Oh, travel. That's strict refereeing. They've docked him 1. Bob played a bit of basketball when he was a physical education student at Loughborough College. Of course, he's a trained PE teacher.
2.
Good all-round athlete.
Three.
No errors there. Oh, he's going to regret that first basket, though, isn't it? Because he's going well now. In it goes. Apart from the travel, no errors.
Bob Wilson, 5 baskets, 43.34.
And that 3 seconds he'll regret. Bonetti still leads. Colin Dixon, 45. Slower than Bob Wilson, but faster than Peter Brown. Hugh Porter on the left there, still to go. Jim Fox still to go. Here's Jim, also 39. Captain Jim Fox, MBE. Had a bit of knee trouble. Says it affects him sprinting, but that's nice and casual. Only 3 bounces, that's good. Economic.
2.
Pushing the ball forward. making up ground. Oh, he's going well. This could be close on Peter Bonetti's 40.38. Runs around the ring, but goes in. 1 to go. Jim Fox, looking good for points. Makes it well. Sprints home well.
Jim Fox, 5 baskets, 40.30.
3-0. That means he takes the lead by 0.08 of a second. And Hugh Porter has to follow that. So anxious to do well in these superstars. Regrets the sort of performance that cyclists have put up in the past. He wants to be the first to do well all around. Already third in the swimming and looking good here. Took an extra bounce. Oh, and it rolls around unkindly. And too many bounces. Jim Fox was getting over the ground in 3 by pushing the ball forward. All time consuming.
4.
Too low too. But a lot of control. He's obviously practiced. Gets his 5th one. It's all about the clock now. Hugh Porter.
Hugh Porter, 5 baskets, 43.05.
Well, that time, in fact, splits the 2 goalkeepers. He'll be well pleased with that. It means now that Jim Fox has had 2 wins. Sadly, no points there for Mike Corby to write up in his book. He looked quite fast, but had a dispute with the referee, all about travelling.
10 good points there, Jim.
Luckiest bloke alive, aren't I?
You reckon? I reckon this was the make or break event for you. I mean, you had to get good points out of this to be sure.
I'll tell you what, I was absolutely flapping on the last one. I almost stopped to put it in there, you know. But I was very lucky. I mean, it's 0.08 of a second or something.
Peter did very well, I must say. Yeah.
He got us all flapping the first half.
And Bob had you going too, because if he hadn't had a second shot, he'd have been up there with you, that's for sure. Very close, wasn't it?
Well, it was fair enough, Ron. I mean, it's I was going quite well, actually. It's a nerve-wracking thing when it's on your first basket, but I was enjoying that. I've enjoyed everything so far. Except for swimming, sorry.
So with just 1 event of this first day to go, Jim Fox is back in the lead, 5 points clear of Peter Brown, who rather surprisingly failed to score a point from that basketball. Bob Wilson hanging on to 3rd. Peter Bonetti has climbed off the bottom, but here now the real hard work.
And the last event of the first day, 4 competitors. Hugh Porter already
16.
Up to 16 dips. He's got Brian
17.
London, Jim Fox, Peter Bonetti to go with him. But here,
18.
he's desperately anxious to do well, to do so much better than Freddie Martins of Belgium, another great cyclist
19.
who scored 4, and Joop Zuidermilk, the Dutchman, who failed to score 1.
20.
And that's a good score. 20 for Hugh Porter.
20.
Just wants to put the bikies on the map. And what a cheer for Brian London, son of a famous boxing father, renowned here in Blackpool. Now he has a...
1, 2,
that referee takes his life in his hands.
3,
He's docked Brian London 3
4,
already. Brian London
5,
has said he wants to challenge Billy Walker.
6,
but Billy Walker did
7,
32 dips
8,
and was
9,
quite a bit younger.
10, 11, 12, 13,
Going well.
14,
A stone lighter than when he was
15,
boxing. So he's kept himself in very good shape,
16,
Brian London.
17,
And matches Terry Downs. Hugh Porter still leads on 20. But Brian London
18.
doing well. Sort of gently slides out of that
18.
on 18. Earns the applause of the rest of the competitors. The quizzical look at the referee. Bob Wilson opting out of the gym tests. And Jeremy Jim Fox from Pewsey in Wiltshire. Joined the army at 15. Made a career of it ever since.
Yeah, down and up. All the way up.
Checking the rules with that
1,
referee. The refereeing has been very
2,
strict, but
all the way
very
up.
fair.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Straighten your arms. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Jim Fox said he was dreading this.
All the way up. 18, 19.
Chasing a lead of 20, held by
20,
Hugh Porter. Matches it.
21, 22. Fight them up.
Oh, is this the end of the line?
22.
It is, indeed, but he takes the lead with 22. Just Peter Bonetti to go. Definitely found that hard. Peter Bonetti, born in Putney and made 729 first-team appearances for the club just up the road, Chelsea.
1, all straight. 3, 4.
And in good
5,
shape.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Straighten the arms. 11.
Says he's been doing some practice for this.
12, 13.
Wouldn't tell us too much
14,
about it.
Straighten the arms. 15,
Dipping over to the left.
16, 17, 18. Straighten the arms. 19, 20.
Matches Hugh Porter on 20.
21, 22.
Now matches Jim Fox and goes past
Straighten the
him.
arms. 23, 24, 24.
Oh, docked one there. Just when he's at his tiredest.
25. Straighten him. No.
No, he's straight it is, he
26.
says. It's a very gentle discussion he's having. Referee is adamant. I think he's going to get 27. The new leader, Peter Bonetti.
I thought Peter would do 30 there.
He felt I had to win something or other.
He's actually, didn't you make yourself something like
I
that?
made one of these, but whether or not I was doing them correctly, you know, I might not have been going down so far. So it's very full set.
You made a set at home?
I made a set at home to stick in the garden, and I was doing them regularly, but as I say, I wasn't going down so far because I had no one ready to test me.
What was that, in between the morning and afternoon post, was
That's in between milking the goats and the chickens.
Not short of initiative is our Peter Bonetti. And there he is, leading with 27 dips. We go on to the squat thrust, and the scores are added together for the overall gymnasium tests. Hugh Porter on the left there, then Brian London, Jim Fox, Peter Bonetti. And they know the refereeing will be very tough indeed.
Ready.
Brian London.
1, 2.
Oh, good old-fashioned squat thrusts.
7, 8, 9.
No sliders here.
11, 12.
Pounding up to the elbows and back, feet beyond that line, knees up to the elbows.
20, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30.
Brian London going well. Second place there. And so is Hugh Porter. Peter Bonetti with the advantage, but that's pretty solid stuff for Brian London. Jim Fox looks to be in a bit of trouble. I know he's had a bit of knee trouble, but look at that. There's the pace leader, the pace setter, Peter Bonetti.
43, 44.
And he's going to get points here, surely.
47.
And Brian London's still going.
Keep it back. 50.
Jim Fox slowing.
Come on, give it back.
Brian London driving himself very hard indeed.
3, 4.
Jim can hardly move. Brian's just ground to a halt, but he's done very well. Peter Brown approves of all that.
I was counting 54, 54, 54.
Because he was touching the floor, he's not allowed to touch the floor.
47 years of age, driven himself well. Jim Fox, 39, wanted a good score here, but I think he's going to be disappointed. Peter Bonetti, 74 squat thrusts, total 101. Hugh Porter, 72 squat thrusts, he's total 92. And look at that, Fox and London, both 54 squat thrusts. That's a surprise. Brian London did exceptionally well.
That's put a smile on your face, isn't it?
At last, the last one of the day, I had to do something, so I'm very pleased.
That was a tremendous performance there.
Well, as I say, I hadn't been doing much all day, and maybe I'm coming to a late burst, so I'm very pleased.
When you said you'd built a set of parallel bars, had you built a squat thrust mat?
No, I didn't. I just relied on sort of what I could do from my old days at Chelsea. So.
Well, at the close of day one, Jim Fox, the favourite, has a pretty commanding lead. But Peter Brown in second place has been joined by Peter Bonetti on the strength of his gymnasium tests. Hugh Porter's in fourth place, just ahead of Bob Wilson.
And so, welcome to the morning of the second day of this Past Masters Superstar Championship. All the 4 remaining events are being held here in Stanley Park. That's the canoe racing, the 100 meters, the soccer, and the final event, the obstacle race. The weather, well, it's overcast, but at least it's not raining. And our first event here at the lake is the canoe racing, 125 meters in racing kayaks. Now, all 8 superstars have decided to go in this, and I think that's a little surprising because they were more than a little apprehensive about the event. More than one's already had a ducking in practice, but watching that practice, I think the standard's very high, and we could see some excellent canoeing. They're in 2 heats. In the first heat, 4 men include Peter Bonetti, the man who suddenly shot up into second place with Peter Brown, behind the leader, Jim Fox. So here they are, lined up, the wind behind them. Colin Dixon, the rugby league man involved in this, he's bottom of the table at the moment. Doesn't look too happy about this event, does he? Peter Bonetti, a little stiff after those excellent gym tests yesterday. Mike Corby, the squash and hockey man who won the shooting, and Hugh Porter, who fancies his chances a little in this event. 30.6 is the record in canoeing. Keith Fielding holds that.
Ready, get set.
So all away nicely. Hugh Porter on the far side, Corby next to him, then Bonetti and Dixon. Dixon looking across to see where the rest are. And who's got the best start of the lot? And there's not much between them. Porter's trailing just a little. Corby out in front in the blue canoe in lane 2, but Corby and Porter very close together. Peter Bonetti in 3rd place. Colin Dixon 4th at the moment. But look at that relaxed style of Mike Corby's. Long arms. Hugh Porter, by contrast, really flailing away, but it's Corby picking up now, and it's Corby going into the lead. The line just ahead of him, and it's Corby who's going to win this. Nice piece of canoeing by Corby. Porter is 2nd. Bonetti should be 3rd, I would think. But no, Colin Dixon steals it just on the line. Dixon 3rd, Bonetti 4th. And Corby's time, 33 seconds. Only 2.4 outside the record. That'll make them think.
It looked a bit breezy out there.
It was it was very, very breezy. Luckily, I was able to keep the boat a little bit, the kayak a little bit straight. I was a little bit worried about Hugh coming up on the left.
Well, we thought from here, Hugh, that you had the lead for the first half of the course.
I didn't really look across. The first time I looked across, I saw Mike was about half a length up on me, so I didn't really know whether he'd been in front all the way or not.
No, I think that's because you had your head down.
Oh, did I?
Hard head
That's
down.
the trouble with being a cyclist. He's always got his head down.
Yes, well, rather than go into all that, we'll concentrate on Superstar Canoeing, Heat 2.
Is this it? Sure.
I think everybody's sure. He better go straight to the net once he gets involved. Bob Wilson's relying on lucky omens. Not doing him a lot of good at the moment. And a spy in the camp is Keith Fielding, the winner of the Champion of Champions program, is down here from Salford to size up the opposition. He'll have to meet in the All-British final, trying to give Colin Dixon a bit of encouragement as well, his clubmate. So here we go then. Win or beat Dixon's 3rd place time of 38 seconds to make the final. London, Brown, Wilson and Fox, the 4 men in the heat. Fox will be over on the far side from us. There's Brian London nearest us. Brown in lane 2. Wilson, lane 3.
Ready, get set.
Peter Brown, the cycle champion, getting off to quite a powerful start. And it's Jim Fox over on the far side, who's just half a length up, nothing much between them. Brian London apprehensive. Peter Brown and Bob Wilson pretty well locked together in 2nd, but Jim Fox, who knows a bit about canoeing, going off very nice, good style, long arms, good economic canoeing, and really beginning to power that racing kayak through. And Peter Brown's off course. Peter Brown's off course, and Brian London is coming up to say hello, and Jim Fox, meanwhile, is well past the line. A very easy win by Jim Fox, deceptively fast, and it'll be Bob Wilson who'll get the 2nd place. And there comes Brown and Brian London. And Brown just pinches off London, and London stays dry. Got dangerously here at the race itself. Oh, and Bob Wilson's gone. Bob Wilson has gone right at the end without a hat. In fact, he's got a bit of cramp.
I'll tell you what, old Wilson would do anything to get on the camera, wouldn't he?
Bob Wilson, the BBC football expert, getting some of the stick he might have expected from his rivals.
Well, it looked very impressive. Not sure what it was on the watch, but it looked very impressive. Time, 29.8.
Is that a telly?
That's faster than Mike Corby, who did 33 seconds.
That's a telly, isn't it?
A colour television, of course, from the sponsors for every superstar record broken, and Fox has broken Keith Fielding's time by almost a full second. So it's Corby and Porter, Fox and Wilson in the final.
In lane 3, Mike Corby.
Hugh Porter, the cyclist. Jim Fox, the modern pentathlete, already a record breaker. Mike Corby, winner of Heat 1, and Bob Wilson, who's just had treatment for cramp.
Back number 4, please.
Fox's time,
Okay.
very good indeed.
Hold it. Ready? Get set.
29.8 for 125 metres by Fox in that first heat was really moving, and Bob Wilson this time across on the far side. Fox is in lane 2 as we look across. Hugh Porter in lane 1. Mike Corby in the blue canoe, and it's Jim Fox just ahead, but Porter going very well indeed. Looks across to see where Fox is, and it's Porter who's moved up in the second place ahead of Mike Corby. Fox just in the lead, but Porter coming out very fast indeed, and Fox knows it. You can see him on his right-hand side, just looks across, and Jim Fox is going to win, but Porter has canoed extremely well. There comes his canoe, up in the second place, beaten by just half a canoe length. And it'll be Mike Corby in third place and Bob Wilson in fourth. Good piece of canoeing by Porter. Fox, in fact, even quicker this time, 29.5. That's his third win after taking the opening event in the swimming. The basketball on day 1 as well, so it's 2 points for Wilson, 4 for Corby, Porter and Fox the 7 and the 10.
Well, Hugh, we've been saying all along that the bikies have never done well in Superstars. You've been determined to disprove that. You've certainly done that with your points now.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ron. I must admit, I've always seen the bike riders in the Superstars, and I felt a bit sorry because without obviously blowing bike riders' trumpets, they are pretty fit lads. And I just thought if I could have one opportunity, because I've retired and I've got a bit of time to try and have a little dabble at the things, I'd like to try and get a few points for cycling, actually.
Well, you've more than done. Jim, and you've got 38 points on the board. You must feel that you're home and dry now.
Oh, 2 events to go, right? I'll tell you what, it's not his fault that the bikies. Anita will duff him off if he doesn't do well.
Anita Lonsborough and Mrs. Porter probably be quite pleased about that, because Hugh Porter is now lying second and can still catch Jim Fox, and so can Peter Brown and Bonetti. 3 events to go then, and the first one is all about speed on the track.
Bob Wilson still down in 5th place. Bit disappointed, but must surely get good points here. Schoolboy sprinter, although he confesses he finished last in a quarter mile when he set out. But lines up with Colin Dixon, Mike Corby and Peter Bonetti. So all must get points. Weather conditions absolutely superb. Bob Wilson, in fact, at Loughborough College and trained with our great 400-metre hurdler, John Cooper, so tragically killed in the Paris air disaster. Bob Wilson on the left, then big Colin Dixon. Mike Corby, I should think, could run a bit. Front foot too near the line, but he hasn't had too much time to practice. Away they go. Bob Wilson gets away well. So too does Mike Corby. And the big fella coming up, Colin Dixon, but Bob Wilson going away, head up, striding away. Mike Corby will get second. It's a battle for third, and it's going to be Colin Dixon running out Peter Bonetti. Well, relief at last in the Wilson camp. 10 points for him, and I know he'll be absolutely delighted to win just one of the events. I don't think Bob Wilson wanted to look over his shoulder once he was away. He was about a yard clear, but look at this for a close race. Mike Corby just holding off Colin Dixon, he holding off Peter Bonetti. As they get to the line, it's nearly 3 metres. The 10 points to Bob Wilson, the 7 to Mike Corby. Colin Dixon gets the 4, and then Peter Bonetti the 2.
I was so scared because I knew I was in front.
Yeah.
And then I was waiting for Colin or Peter. I was so scared they were going to come past because I was in the lead.
You look like a man running scared, I must say,
I've been
Bob.
trying so hard to get the joy of 10 points, you know. And I missed out, a couple of times.
Yeah.
And it was so marvellous.
Nerve-wracking, yeah.
Marvellous.
Well, after 7 events, Jim Fox still in command, but Bob Wilson has now shot up to 2nd place, with Hugh Porter and Mike Corby sharing 3rd place ahead of Peter Bonetti. But in the next event, the soccer, both the keepers can only watch. and we can look back at them at their very best. Who can imagine Bob Wilson being nervous when he's so much in control, in command, cool, commanding, totally composed, and the governor of his territory? Despite the massive crowd in that 71 Cup final against Liverpool. Brilliant reflexes, and still absolutely composed.
Graham shot.
So too, Peter Bonetti in action against Leeds in 1978. The agile, spontaneous, brilliant reaction times, those automatic reflexes that made him the cat.
Can I ask you both, quite briefly, who was the striker you feared most coming against you? Bob?
I'll have to say three, and it's not the Bobby Charltons, even though he's a marvellous player. The ones that I feared most, David, and I have to pick out three, were the three that could make me look silly. And that was Johan Cruyff.
Thought he might be there.
Yeah. George Best at his best. Yeah. The greatest thing I've ever seen. Yeah. And Jimmy Greaves. Because the reason I say that is that with Bobby Charlton, it either went into row 53, you made a spectacular save, or it went in the back of the net. Yeah. But with these fellas, whatever you did with your angles, they could look up and say, oh, see that corner? In it went.
Peter?
Well, he's obviously had the first choice, and he's picked out two of the people I would have said, Jimmy Greaves and George Best, without doubt, because they had this close control, close in, and they could go up to you, show you the ball, and just take it round you as well. Yeah. And the other one I'd say was Pelé.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I thought he must come in.
He had vision, he had everything, speed, he had power, you know, and close control as well, and I would say those three without doubt.
Well, let's see if the other six superstars in this competition, which I know you've been enjoying, have got speed and power and everything else. The football event coming up. Come and join me, and you can have your little say now. Join me as commentators on the event.
All right, David.
Well, I'm sure you know the rules, gentlemen. 3 attempts at goal after dribbling through these slalom posts we've got here. Against the clock, remember. There's a colleague of yours, Welshman international Di Davis, international keeper from Wrexham, who's going to try and stop them all. So Jim Fox on the run then. Moved quite well through there.
He looks the part, doesn't he? That's a bad start for him, though. That's a real bad start for him.
That's typical, isn't it? In practice, he was hitting them well, and the first one there,
See, the thing is, in practice, David, you get there and you're calm about it. He rushed that, panicked. Now he's done it again, pulled it again, you see. It's incredible, isn't it? I always think this is a very, very hard event to predict. As Di Davis has said to us when we were talking to him beforehand, often the miscue the one, isn't it, Peter?
That's right, and that's the one that'll find the net.
Last chance. Came out well with that, didn't he?
Yes, Jim's forgotten to get back there. Well, that must be a big disappointment to Jim.
Well, you see how disappointed he just turned away. He wanted to give in.
Bad one for Jim Fox.
I'll tell you what, who will upset the apple cart and go for and win this? Brian London.
That's right, he could well do it.
He's the one that just is so confident, so casual about it. Roll for him.
Seen it before.
Yes, indeed, a disastrous start for Jim Fox with nothing on the score sheet, but Dixon and Corby each scored 1 goal and could still get points.
And Hugh Porter, he's lying equal third with 22 points. Now, you fancied him in practice, didn't you? He looked to be moving well.
Well, he's thought a lot about it, David. This is... You see, there's a miscue. He miscued it. You see what I mean? It's a miscue often that'll beat a top-line goalkeeper. Good start for him.
But as the old saying goes, it's not how you hit them, it's if they end up in the back of the net, it counts.
Second one.
Oh, good.
Now, you see, he got too close. Too close. So you let Di cut the angle right down there, and he was right on top of him. He's got one to his name, though.
So, 2 good saves by Di Davis, 1 goal for Hugh Porter.
But even slower than both Dixon and Corby.
Bit of a football background here, isn't there, David?
Peter Brown, indeed, the big rugby man. In fact, his father, Jock Brown, well known in football circles. His brother, Gordon Brown's played a bit of football as well.
Just a barrier. See, Di, that's all the experience of an international keeper there. He just made himself a barrier, and however well he hit it, the barrier was good enough to stop it.
Come on, quicker!
Taking too close, but he's done it. Did it well.
Oh, and Brown hasn't got a ball. Oh, got one now.
He's Really going now. Peter.
He goes.
That's good. Good
That'll
going
do
there.
it. That'll win it, you know. That could well win it.
Yeah. 2 goals for the big Scot, Peter Brown.
But was Peter Brown robbed of some vital seconds here when he returned for the ball, pointed to the spot, no spot there, the ball boy brings it out. There is a delay, and then he knocks the ball boy over, and Peter Brown being given the option by the referee of a rerun.
I'm quite happy to stick to that result.
You stick to that.
I'll stick to my 2 goals at whatever time I finished.
But there's no point asking after now, that's
No,
it.
quite happy.
Fair enough. Thank you,
Thank you
Peter.
very much.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, a nice spirit of sportsmanship from Peter Brown there, but not a bad decision, as he's the leader with 2 goals at the moment.
I think this is the favourite of the crowd now.
Yeah, the big
Brian
cheers
London.
here because Brian London, the local boy. Now then, anything could happen.
This is the one they want to do well. 92's natty footwork. Oh, what a goal.
Look at his pace. Right in the top corner. You see goals now. If he can keep his cool, goals will get him there.
He really good.
What a character, David.
Oh, he's
what a
unbelievable.
character, this man.
You said when you fought Muhammad Ali, you fear nothing.
Top corner and then off the post.
Where does he put the next one?
Dear, oh dear. Greavesy. Forget about coming back.
2 for Brian.
Brian will be taking up a new profession, I think. Keep your cool, Brian. Just keep your cool.
Oh, he hit the side then. Look at him.
Performance.
He even turned to the crowd then.
Fantastic. Deserves it.
Terrific. Hey, everybody enjoyed that. The competitors as well. I bet you feel good.
Yes.
Feel good? Done any practicing? I mean, I know you're jogging and you're in good nick, but I mean, have you played any soccer?
No, I haven't had enough time.
No. I tell you, there
I
won't
had 2 weeks for the whole competition.
really. There won't be anybody here begrudge you a point of that. That
Thank you
really
very much.
was super. Well done indeed.
What a delightful result. And as so often happens in Superstars, it's more about scoring goals than getting a fast time. The only man to score 3 wins. And Brown on 2 goals gets second place, then Dixon, Corby and Porter, but no points for overall leader Jim Fox.
And although Jim Fox didn't score in that soccer in more ways than one, he can't be overtaken now for the past Masters title. But as to who qualifies with him for the All-British Championship, every man except Dixon can make the runner-up spot. And it all rests on the obstacle race. London and Porter in the first heat against the clock.
On your mark.
First of all, over the horse. Then onto the parallel bars, arms only. Porter just ahead at the moment. A 12-foot long jump. The climbing frame. A lot of work still to do. Up comes oh, and London missed his footing there as Porter goes nicely over the top. Nice somersault over the top. London much slower at the moment. Then the sit-ups, 15 sit-ups, and the problem with this is after you've done the sit-ups, you've got to try and balance on the beam.
5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 9, 11,
Porter ahead.
10, 12, 11,
15 to do.
12, 14, 13, 15, 14.
Now the balance beam, just 4 inches wide. And Porter nicely up. He's got to do the turn. London's in trouble. Oh, Porter already away. Over the 4-foot high jump. And London, he's done well over the hurdles for Porter, and Porter is through, and it's just under the 1 minute. Just under the minute for Hugh Porter. And London gamely struggling over the hurdles, but his time will be slow. The dreaded beam was all right. Of course,
Oh yeah, I don't mind the beam. The thing that I couldn't get the confidence for was jumping over the high jump near the end. I'd worked it out that I was going to hurdle that, but it's a different league when you've done 15 setups and run along the beam.
Well, vital race, because you could still make that second place
Yeah.
and qualify for the final.
I'd love to, but I've lost time there with the sit-ups.
Well, you never know. They've got to do it. You've got one
They
in the
might
bag.
fall off,
They
and
might. Well done, Hugh.
Cheers.
In Heat 2, there were 2 big men from rugby drawn together. Peter Brown on the left there and Colin Dixon. Their problems, all about the beam. Colin Dixon straight off. Peter taking his time on an early 360-degree turn. Colin off again. And when it came to Heat 3, well, we saw some tremendous sprinting from Peter Bonetti, who left Mike Corby way in the background. He had one little wobble, but apart from this, he sprinted to a very fast time. No trouble over the high jump and then over the 3 hurdles. His time, 52.24, faster than Porter.
On the line for heat 4. Jim Fox, Bob Wilson. Bonetti the fastest at 52.24. Porter second fastest at 59.31. Remember, the 2 fastest men going to run off. Good leaping. Fox first over the top. Wilson steps off into the sit-ups. Although Jim Fox has got this Past Masters title wrapped up, he won't give anything away, I can tell you. And it's a chance for Bob Wilson, his last chance. A good time here could get him into the obstacle race final and could get him that vital runners-up position, which will take him into the All-British final. Now then, the beam. And Fox is off, and so is Wilson. Wilson is off as well. Coming after those sit-up, it's so difficult to get the balance, and Wilson is having a nightmare. Fox is away, he's done the turn, and Wilson's off again, and all the chances of superstar success have gone for Bob Wilson. Jim Fox powers through. It's a good time, just over 56 seconds. He's knocked out Hugh Porter, and Bob Wilson will never want to watch this. All the chance gone now when he'd done so well on the second day. The Wilson nightmare.
Disaster.
I think you're saying it all by that stance there, aren't you?
Oh, dear.
The dreaded beam.
Terrible. That's terrible. That's disappointing, David. Yeah. I've been practicing that like mad, but you come up from those sit-ups and there's nothing there, you know. There's no spring to get on. Oh.
Well, the 2 fastest times from the 4 heats. Clearly, Peter Bonetti's from heat 3, Jim Fox from heat 4, but Hugh Porter will collect 4 points, then 2 and 1 to Brown and Dixon.
So the final, Jim Fox and Peter Bonetti, and Bonetti must win to make sure that runners-up position and make the All-British Superstars final. And Bonetti ahead. Seen his sprinting, we've seen his speed, and he really is going for this now.
1, 2, 2.
It's the next part that could cause all the problems.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Watching the man who's qualified from this Past Masters Championship, is Bonetti going to go with him? And Bonetti is up. It's all about the first man across the line to get the 10 points from the obstacle race, and a nice turn by Peter Bonetti. Just manages to keep the balance there. He's over the high jump, no penalties at all. He's over the hurdles, he's going to win, and Peter Bonetti has won it. He wins the obstacle race, punches the sky with delight. What a good run, inside 50 seconds, the fastest of the lot, and Bonetti makes runner-up and qualifies.
And you know you make the final on that, Peter.
So I believe.
Oh, terrific stuff.
Thanks very
that
much.
must have been nerve-wracking.
It was. It took so long in coming.
Especially on the beam.
I had to relax there because before I nearly lost it on the first heat, and I was just trying to concentrate to stay put.
Yeah.
And that's why I slowed up.
What have you felt about it all? I mean, you came in, you know, with everybody said a favourite.
You and Ron saying, yeah.
You came in as a favourite, you must admit that, and the pressure was on you. What did you feel about the competition? More difficult?
I felt I was very fortunate in the basketball. I felt I was an idiot in the football. And
yes, you won't forgive yourself for that.
stupid, you know. Trying to do a dummy in the first one and lost it. But that's what it's all about. Corby could have won. Loads of other chaps who, you know, they made mistakes. It's heavy, isn't it? Can I have your job again?
Well, he'd done his job pretty well. Jim Fox, modern pentathlete, victories in swimming, basketball and canoeing. And Peter Bonetti at the last is one victory enough to get that second place and qualify with him. Only 4 points between the next 4 men. And that completes the lineup for the 1981 British Superstar Final. From the Champion of Champions opening programme, a rugby league player and a remarkable athlete. The rugby league player is Keith Fielding, who beat all the former winners. And the athlete, of course, is Lynn Davis, the Olympic long jumper, who came second. In the final, we'll see again the strength of world water ski champion Mike Hazelwood, who won in Wales. And there, the rugby union player, Jeff Squire, was runner-up, but he can't make the final because of injury. Taking his place will be another Olympic medal winner, third in Wales, David Jenkins. Jenkins in the final, and from the Peterborough heat we've got an extrovert footballer and a giant of a rugby union international. Andy Ripley has been one of the most impressive superstar heat winners. His speed and power in the track events, one of the outstanding features of the 1981 season. And the footballer is Mike Channon, who makes no secret of how much he loves to win. Those 6 joined by the 2 who've come through from this past Masters Championship here in Blackpool. So the applause for the Army captain Jim Fox, Olympic modern pentathlon gold medalist. 3 outright event victories here gave him the win, 14 points clear ahead of Peter Bonetti, who pipped Peter Brown at the very last. And we all know the reputation that past Masters have had in previous superstars. Will Jim Fox enhance that? Mr. St. John Jackson, marketing manager of Ferguson TV Audio and Video, presents the final heat trophy of the season. And so now we look forward to the British final of the Superstar Championship 1981.